All right, good morning. It's time for us to talk sports on global television, and we've got all the big stories making the rounds. This weekend was full of action from the world of sport, especially football, where we had the El Clasico in Spain, and indeed it was a big one as Barcelona had 4 goals past the Galacticos, talking about the Los Blancos, and it was the first El Clasico for Kylian Mbappe, but it wasn't a night to remember. All right, we've got some very interesting stories also. Nigeria not doing well at the Under-17 FIFA World Cup, where they got kicked out by their rivals, the United States of America. But let's begin from where it matters most, where Nigeria were awarded 3 goals and 3 points, and Libya was fined $50,000 as the Confederation of African Football finally announced its verdict on the botched 2025 Africa Cup of Nations Group D qualifying fixture scheduled for October 15 in Benina, Libya on Saturday. The verdict followed an intense and seemingly thorough investigation of the matter by the body's disciplinary committee following a complaint by the Nigerian Football Federation after Super Eagles were subjected to a 20-hour nightmare experience in the North African country between Sunday, October 13 and Monday, October 14. The Libyan authorities had diverted their flight to Barak Airport, which is about 300 kilometers from the match venue, just when they were about to land at the designated airport in Benghazi. The Nigerian contingent was locked in the Al Baraka airport for 18 hours without food and water, and toilets were completely messed up by the Libyans in anticipation of their arrival, drained physically and psychologically and mentally, including emotionally. The Super Eagles were not in the right shape to play the match, returned to the country later on Monday. The Libyan Football Federation tried to put up a spurious defense that was eventually rightly found unattainable by the disciplinary committee. In its ruling on Saturday, which was signed by the chairman Ousmani Kani, the committee found the Libyan Football Federation guilty of breaching Article 31 of the African Cup of Nations regulations, as well as Article 82 and 151 of the CAF Disciplinary Code. Also, the match number 87, Libya versus Nigeria of the CAF African Cup of Nations qualifiers 2025, scheduled to be played on October 15 in Benghazi, was declared lost by forfeit by Libya by a score of 3-0. The Libyan Football Federation was also ordered to pay a fine of 50,000 USD within 60 days of notification of the decision. The verdict leaves Nigeria on the brink of qualification for the 2025 African Cup of Nations finals in Morocco with 2 matches to spare. The Super Eagles now have 10 points from 4 matches, 4 points adrift of second place Benin Republic, while Rwanda have 5 points. Meanwhile, Libya remains rock bottom with 1 point and out of contention for the group's 2 tickets to the finals. Victory or draw against the Cheetahs of Benin Republic in Abidjan on Thursday, November 14th, that's talking about match day 5 encounter, will land the Super Eagles a ticket for the finals in Morocco. Expectedly, the Libyan Football Federation considers as unfair the decision, which it has appealed, engaging the services of a Tunisian lawyer, Ali Abbas, to defend its position in the case, according to Libyan outlet Al Wasat. All right, that's good news there for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. 1 leg in qualification for Morocco 2025. All right, still giving big stories concerning the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Let's talk about the CHAN event. We're looking at Eguavon's CHAN list. That's the next big story we're talking about, as Ahmed Musa is a absentee as the head coach, Austin Eguavon, named his 35-man squad for the Super Eagles B squad to face Ghana in the 2025 African Nations Cup Championship qualification. Musa recently returned to the Nigerian Premier Football League and has been on fire since rejoining his boyhood club, Kano Pillars. Eguavon has called to camp Remo Stars wing-back Ismail Sadiq, Kano Pillars forward Zikifulu, Rabiu, and Enugu Rangers attacking midfielder Kazim Ogunleye. The first leg of the fixture, which is a reminder of the qualification series for the last edition of the competition, which Ghana edged on a penalty shootout is billed for the weekend of 20th to 22nd December. With a return leg a week later, the winner over 2 legs will earn a slot in the 8th edition of the competition, exclusively reserved for footballers playing and plying their trade in the country's domestic league. The finals will take place across Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania from February 1st to 28th, 2025. Also, let's let you know that Aqua United's Wisdom Ndom and the Enugu Rangers Saviour Isaac and Anas Yusuf of Nasarawa United and Academy Warriors Abbas Megeri are also invited to camp that will open in Abuja Tuesday 29th October. So this let's look at the list of players invited. We've got the goalkeeping department. We've got Ohi Osaige from Rivers United. We've got Henry Uzomena from Enyimba FC. We've got Mohamed Galadima from Nasarawa United. And for the defenders, we've got Wisdom Undom from Aqua United, Stephen Mayo from Rivers United. Ifan Onyebuchi comes from Enugu Rangers. We've got Ismail Sadiq from Remo Stars, Yusuf Isa from Bayelsa United, Abba Megeri from Academy Warriors, and Taiwo Abdul Rafiu from Rivers United. We've got Kabiru Muhammad also, and Kwara United, we've got a Junior Nduka. Remo Stars has a Victor Collins and Nasarawa United, and we've got Abbas Usman from Academy Warriors. In the midfield department, we've got Innocent Godwin from Abia Warriors, Jide Fatukun from Remo Stars, and Musa Zaid from Academy Warriors, and not forgetting Saviour Isaac also from Rangers International. We've got Eze Eku to Zim from Eyimba FC, and Amufua Sosa from Kora United, and to Chiku Michael from Remo Stars, Ifeanyi Assurance from Lobby Stars, and Kazim Ogunleye from Enugu Rangers. We've got Seth Mayi from Sunshine Stars of Akure, and Stanley Ogambo from Lobby Stars, Maiwa Orishewe Yemi from Bendo Insurance, and Tuyib Gidado from Ikorodu City. The attacking line for the Super Eagles Team B, we've got Samuel Ayorinde from Shooting Stars, Anas Yusuf from Nasarawa United, Abdul Sanusi from Academy Warriors, and Sikiru Alimi from Remo Stars, and Abubakar Adamu from Plateau United. Don't forgetting Rabiu Zikifulu from Kano Pillars, and Tomitokwe Vincent from Plateau United. We've got Michael Enaruma from Bende Insurance. So those are the players that will be making up the Nigerian Chan team, and we'll be wishing them the very best of luck. All right, let's go to the MPFL result for matches played over the weekend. It was a big weekend. There was no victor and no vanquished at the Massimiska Stadium in Port Harcourt on Sunday, as the two unbeaten sides in the MPFL for the 2024-2025 Nigerian Premier Football League season, talking about Rivers United and Academy Warriors, played a stalemate to remain undefeated after 9 matches. Despite having Gimba Ijiji sent off in the closing stage of the first half, Academy Warriors stood their ground to hold the league leaders to a 1-1 draw to earn invaluable points, which helped preserve the unbeaten streak. Meanwhile, Samaila Bello put the visitors in front in the 31st minute before Taufik Olani restored parity just 2 minutes later. Gigi was sent off for a second bookable offense 5 minutes into the additional time in the first 45 minutes, as both sides headed into the dressing room with the score leveled. Let's say that despite having numerical advantage over the visitors, Rivers were unable to find the second goal, with Academy happy to walk away with a point. In spite of the draw, Rivers remained on top of the table with 21 points, 3 points more than Remo Stars, who suffered their third defeat of the season in Owerri against Heartland of Owerri. Meanwhile, Emmanuel Amunike led his side Heartland to a famous 1-0 victory over the Sky Blue Stars. And Peter Afolayan scored in the 71st minute to help the Nazi Millionaires claim their second win of the season and temporarily move out of the relegation zone. Meanwhile, Heartland currently sits in the 16th position with 9 points, the same point as Bayelsa United, who are away to Lobby Stars today. Meanwhile, MPFL leading scorer Anas Yusuf once again found the back of the net with his 9th goal of the season, giving Nasarawa United a win over Kanu Pillars to move the Lafia boys to 8th. It was a match winner to celebrate his call-up to the Chan Eagles camp in Abuja. Let's just let you know that the forward grabbed the only goal of the encounter just 5 minutes before the end of the first half, and that was all that separated both sides. Let's talk about Shooting Stars. Let's let you know that Shooting Stars continue their newly found form at home this season with a 2-1 win over 19th place Aqua United. This is the first home game where the Oluyole Warriors have scored more than 1 goal this season. Ikorodu City were on course to claim a point in Aba against Eyimba, but the People's Elephant claimed the win in the 90th minute from Moses Aduku. The result keeps Eyimba International in 3rd place with 17 points, 4 points behind leaders Rivers United. And let's take you to Jos, where Plateau United ran riot against Kennedy Boboye's Sunshine Stars, grabbing a 3-0 win, courtesy of Sadiq Abubakar brace and a penalty from Vincent Temi Tokbe. So it was Plateau United whipping the opponent silly, talking about Sunshine Stars of Akure by 3 goals, dimming the stars of Akure. All right, let's go to another very sad story there concerning the FIFA Under-17 World Cup, where the Flamingos gave their best but wasn't good enough, according to their coach. Nigeria's head coach, Bankole, says the players gave their best at the 2024 FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup in Dominican Republic, which was not enough in their 2-0 defeat to the U.S. in the first quarterfinal match at the Estadio Cibao Santiago. The Americans scored in each half, with Kennedy Fuller putting in front on 43 minutes, and Kemi Asanyo doubled the lead on the 74th minute, awarding their penalty shootout defeat. Yes, avenging their penalty shootout defeat against Nigeria in the epic clash at the 2022 edition in India. While the results sent the U.S. to the semifinals for the first time since the inaugural edition in 2008, Nigeria missed out on a second straight semifinal. During a post-match press conference cited by FIFA.com, Bankole said he was proud of the girls, adding that they can go beyond the level which they would strive to achieve in next time. And Nigeria were one of the few teams with a 100% group record, but were dominated by the Americans, with a pivotal moment coming in the minutes before halftime when the referee pointed to the spot after Jocelyn Travers was brought down in the area. A video review confirmed the penalty, and Kennedy Fuller tucked it in a way to hand U.S. a lead. The second half was just as hard fought as the first, and Nigeria were the ones to craft the first big chance when the USA gave away a set-up Taiwo Afolabi, whose shot was parried wide by Evan Austin. Meanwhile, U.S. were starting to poke holes in Nigeria's high defensive line, and it paid off when Fuller found Kimi Asanyo, who slotted home to ice the win. U.S. will on Thursday face off against Korea DPR in the semifinals at the Estadio Cibao. And very sad commentary there. The Flamingos did promise Nigerians that they were going to come back with the trophy, especially when they had 100% wins in the group stages. We all thought, yes, this was going to be the time for the Flamingos to win the Under-17 FIFA World Cup, but that's not what played out. All right, let's move on. Still talking female football. Let's talk about the Super Falcons in the news this morning. A first half brace from Captain Rasheedat Ajibade secured Nigeria's Super Falcons a 2-0 win over the Green Ladies of Algeria in an international friendly at the Remo Stars Stadium, Ikenne, on Saturday. Ajibade opened the scoring in the 24th minute, latching onto a long-range pass from midfield and expertly lobbing the Algerian goalkeeper who had rushed out of her area. The 24-year-old forward doubled the lead just before halftime with a stunning volley from outside the box during 2 minutes of added needed time. The win marked a solid start for Justin Madugu's side, who are in the process of rebuilding after a disappointing Olympic campaign. Meanwhile, despite several scoring opportunities in the second half, the Falcons were unable to extend their lead, but they controlled the match and limited the Algerian side's chances. The friendly was the first of the two games scheduled between the two teams, with the second leg set to take place in the Bolaji Johnson Arena on Ikon, Lagos on Tuesday. Meanwhile, October 29, it also marked Nigeria's return to Grade A friendlies on home soil, the first since 2021, where the Aisha Buhari Women's Tournament was held. Meanwhile, interim coach Madugu, who took over following Randy Wardrum's resignation in September, feeded a mix of home-based talent and foreign-based professionals. Ajide led the attack, joined by Gift Monday, while Chiamaka Nadozie started in goal. Tosin Demihi and Esther Onyezide also played key roles in the Falcons' solid performance. Speaking ahead of the match, Madugu emphasized the importance of the friendlies in rebuilding the team's confidence. Jibade's 2 goals brought her tally to 6 in 20 appearances for the national team, further solidifying her position as one of the Super Falcons' most reliable goal scorers. Both teams will now turn their attention to the upcoming clash in Lagos, where the Falcons will aim to secure another win and continue their resurgence under Madugu's guidance. All right, congratulations to the Super Falcons as they continue their rebuilding process. All right, from the Super Falcons, let's go quickly. Let's talk about this man. He's still on fire. We're taking you to the Serie A, the Thailand League, where Lukman is still scoring great goals. Lukman, who has emerged as the overwhelming favorite for the 2024 CAF Player of the Year award, delivered a masterpiece performance in Atlanta's emphatic victory on Saturday. He set up Martin de Roon's opener in the 6th minute with a brilliant run down the left flank before providing another assist for Matteo Retegu 3 minutes later in a similar fashion. The 27-year-old, who made history as the first player to score a hat-trick in the European club competition final during Atlanta's Europa League triumph over Bayer Leverkusen last season, then turned provider again for Charles the Catalan stunning 14-minute strike. Not content with his playmaking duties, Lukman showcased his clinical finishing in 29 minutes, cutting inside from the left before wrong-footing the goalkeeper with a clever dummy and drilling the ball into the near bottom corner. The Super Eagles forward, who is the only African player nominated for the 2024 Ballon d'Or, completed his brace 5 minutes later, displaying his football intelligence by initiating a move from the midfield before tapping in from close range following the Catelere's assist. He was substituted in the 56th minute with the game already won. All right, that's Lukman there doing great things. Let's go for a very quick break. When we return from the break, we'll be looking at other big stories making the rounds. We've got out to Joshua the news, and hopefully I'll be joined by Dixon, who will be helping us to do analysis of some of the big stories we shared with you on today's edition. Let's go for a quick break. When we return, we'll be talking Anthony Joshua and other big stories making the rounds. Stay with us.
Time for sports' biggest moments on global television. The headlines, scores, breaking news, and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses, and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns, and victories. Talk Sports with the King of Sports, Anthony Momodu. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
Beautiful work from the wingers!
All right, welcome back from the break. We still talk sport, and we've got some big stories coming out from the boxing community where Anthony Joshua's rematch with Daniel Dubois is in jeopardy as promoter Eddie Hearn has raised concerns over the planned February date. Hearn pointed out that the quick turnaround following their last fight might be too soon for Joshua, putting the highly anticipated bout at risk. Joshua suffered a brutal fifth-round knockout loss to Dubois at Wembley in September, where he was dropped 4 times. Since then, plans have been in place for a rematch to be staged in Saudi Arabia in February, giving Joshua a chance at redemption. However, Hearn revealed that the proposed timeline is proven to be a challenge despite the hurdle. Hearn confirmed that Joshua is still eager to face Dubois again. However, he hinted at a potential postponement, with May being a more realistic target for the rematch. While the February date is not yet ruled out, Hearn emphasized that it would require a swift decision. This is also the possibility of Joshua opting to fight Tyson Fury instead should Fury prevail in his upcoming rematch against Alexander Usyk on December 21st. Meanwhile, Fury, who is 36, lost to Usyk 37 in their undisputed title decider in May, but a victory in their next encounter could open the door for a blockbuster bout against Joshua. Meanwhile, Hearn did not dismiss the prospect of bypassing Dubois for a more lucrative fight against Fury next. The decision on whether to proceed with the Dubois rematch in February or delay it remains uncertain. But for now, the future of Joshua's next fight hangs in a balance. All right, that's well said. Let's move on to other stories. Let's do some athletics as Nigeria's Tejiri Godwin. Bahrain clinched the gold in the boys 100 meters of the ISF Jina Seed 2024 at the Bahrain National Stadium in Rifa, crossing the finish line at an impressive 10.38 seconds. That's his personal best. Known for his explosive speed, Godwin trains under the guidance of coach Richard T. in Bielsa. Earlier in the year, the high schooler made waves at the championship finals in Calabar, where he set then personal best of 10.61 seconds, signaling his rise as one of the promising talents in Nigerian athletics. His recent victory only strengthens his position as one to watch, showcasing his growth and commitment to excellence. The ISF Gina Seed Bahrain 2024, which started in October and will be rounded off October 31st, is the biggest ever international school sport event. The event, which features more than 5,400 participants representing over 70 countries worldwide, got underway in October 24th with the official opening ceremony followed by plenty of actions in the gymnasium's 26 sports program. We've got archery, athletics, badminton, 3x3 basketball, beach volleyball, boxing, chess, dance sports, fencing, aerobic gymnastics, artistic gymnastics, and rhythm gymnastics, handball, judo, karate, orienting, and paddle, and not forgetting para athletics and para badminton, para judo, and para swimming, not forgetting table tennis, taekwondo, tennis, and wrestling all involved. All right, let's move on to other big stories. Let's take you to Spain. It was the El Clasico over the weekend where Barcelona coach Hansi Flick said his team is in a state of flow after they trashed Real Madrid 4-0 on Saturday, moving 6 points clear at the top of the La Liga. The Catalan Giants triumphed at the Santiago Bernabeu, snapping Madrid's 42-match unbeaten run and continuing their own revival under the German coach who arrived this summer. Barcelona have won 10 of their 11 league matches, despite several players being sidelined with injuries, some of whom have started to return. Robert Lewandowski scored twice early in the second half to help Barcelona take control, with Lamine Yamal and Rafinha rounding off the riot. Real Madrid star Kylian Mbappe had 2 goals disallowed for offside, with Barcelona's defense caught the Los Blancos players offside 12 times with their high defensive line. All right, move on. Still talking about the El Clasico. It's still big stories making the round as Real Madrid have opened investigation to identify a perpetrator who allegedly aimed racist abuse at Lamine Yamal during the El Clasico. Madrid suffered their first defeat of the season on Saturday night, going down 4-0 against arch rivals Barcelona in the first El Clasico of the campaign at the Bernabeu, with a game at 0-0 at halftime. Robert Lewandowski scored 2 second-half goals before Yamal scored the third of the game. Rafinha wrapped up scoring soon after. Yamal broke another record with his strike, becoming the youngest ever El Clasico scorer, but was allegedly subject to racist abuse from the stands during the match. Madrid have now released a statement condemning racial abuse and revealing they have opened an investigation. Mundo Deportivo, meanwhile, report that a fan in the front row abused the 17-year-old as he celebrated scoring his goal in the 77th minute. A video has been circulating on social media where the alleged abuse can seemingly be heard. In another video, meanwhile, which sees Barcelona taking a corner, more alleged abuse can seemingly be made out. The incident is just the latest in the long line of racist issues in Spain, many of which have involved Real Madrid forward Vinicius Jr. Yamal, meanwhile, netted his first Clasico goal on the night in the 4th appearance in the fixture to add another record to his ever-growing list. He is the youngest player to have started a La Liga game, which came when he lined up against Barca in the 2023-2024 season against Cadiz at 16 years, 38 days old. And just a few days later, he became the youngest player to provide an assist in La Liga. He is also the youngest Barca player to debut in the Champions League, the youngest starter in history of the Champions League, the youngest player to register a champion in major international trophy. Earlier this year, a court handed down 6 months prison sentence for each incident after a fan was found to have racially abused Vinicius Jr. and another La Liga star in 2 separate incidents, and also took the decision to implement a 3-year stadium ban on the supporter. Meanwhile, the Brazilian has also opened up on how he feels targeted by discriminatory abuse from rival fans. All right, go for another quick break. When we return from the break, we'll be telling you about what played out when Liverpool met Arsenal. Some had thought Arsenal were going to implode because of the injury worries, but the Gunners are truly on fire. And hopefully, I'll be having Mazino Dixon help us do analysis of some of the big stories we've shared with you. Stay with us. Welcome back from the break. You still talk sport, and we've got lots of actions to discuss about. And one man who's got the burden of helping us do some very sound analysis is not that person but Mazino Dixon, a sports analyst, and works with the Voice of Nigeria right here. He is in the live studios, even though I've got a player also waiting in the wings. I don't know. I don't know why he's in the studio this morning. He's wearing the canvas and on suit and looking like a player that has been dumped by his club. Do you know who we're talking about?
Maybe he's hunting for his free transfer.
Free transfer. Who is that player we're talking about?
No other person. You know who now? Offload.
No, just tell us who he is because we know he's 6 feet tall, but he doesn't score like Eli Halal.
Sammy.
Okay, we've got Samuel Oni in the studios waiting with Sammy. And okay, now you call him Sammy. I thought he was Samuel.
Well, I just say Sammy, just
and so you can buy him quickly.
Since he's on trainers and so we just say Sporting Sam. Sammy.
That's what you can see he's wearing.
Of course.
What is he wearing?
He's wearing a suit. He's wearing a very unique trainer. So I believe he's emulating Marcelo when he was at Real Madrid. Another time they used to wear suits and trainers ready to go for matches. So I'm sure that's where he got that inspiration from. I'm sure.
Okay, well I hope he's not switching sports from basketball to football. Let's look at all the things they're playing out there. Sure. It's a very eventful weekend. First, let's start from where Matters most. CAF did. For most people,
justice.
The right thing, justice.
Yes.
How just was CAF's verdict?
It was spot on because, the fact is they gave the articles that the Libyans violated. And I mean, it was too clear. It was too obvious. You put the lives of the players in danger. You showed aggression. If you had an issue, you could easily have appealed to CAF before the Super Eagles left for Libya, if indeed your claim was true, but you resorted to revenge. And in football and in sport, you don't do that. It's like in a field of play, there's an infringement and the player retaliates. Of course, the law will apply. So in this case, Libya goofed. They relied on aggression and retaliation. And of course, well, if you go on social media, there's a lot of hue and cry from the Libyans and their supporters that they will go to, they will appeal, they will go to a court of arbitration. But the general consensus is they deserved it. And for the Super Eagles players, many of them who actually spoke with different outlets were actually hoping for a return match in a neutral venue. But by and large, justice has been done and a lesson has been sent out there. Okay,
3 points, 3 goals, 50,000 USD to be paid. Is that heavy enough? Some said, why don't make it 100,000? Because Nigeria did spend lots of money flying to Libya and coming back. The emotional, the physical, all the trauma
and the
Super
fact
Eagles
that they were
went
not
through.
remorseful about
Yes.
it, they seem to even justify it. So some will even say it should have been 100, 200, but I guess maybe CAF looked at the fact that Libya is
It's
having
not a
a
stable economy, right?
is having a political situation, so further hammering that federation might virtually implode the game. But for me, I am very happy that the 3 points were awarded to Nigeria. I made this point last week that 3 points,
True,
3
your
goals.
prediction came
Yes,
to
and
pass.
I'm very happy. And the Libyans can appeal for all they want, but the fact is, in terms of violation and public opinion, they were wrong. So justice to Nigeria and good
Well
one by
said.
CAF.
All right, justice well served. Talking about justice, where the Flamingos, awarded justice too by the US team. They whipped them 2-0. The Flamingos, they promised they were coming back with the trophy, had 100% record during group stage. Do you think that was a disservice? What probably gave them that false impression that they were good enough?
The truth is that for the female game, you notice that the main problem we have is when we navigate the preliminaries, the teams we now tend to meet, United States, Germany, Japan, at that level, it's a different ball game. It's more of tactics and tactical discipline that comes to play. And of course, the Americans finished second in their group behind the champion Spain. And the Americans are not new at this level when it comes to female football.
Yeah,
At this level, they are very good. And of course, there's a new revolution going on in American female football. The former Chelsea coach
who is now there.
So there's a new renaissance going on. Not bad for our girls. Sad that the same team they vanquished at the last edition at this level now took revenge. So better luck next time. But I think I like the way they played. Remember, it's a developmental tournament. It's not really a do or die thing. I would just implore the NFF to keep this team so that they progress as Flamingos to Falconets, and as long as those are very active and still giving enough to the game to the Super Falcons. But I like their style of play. I like their approach, and it's just to understand navigating the tactical nuances of the knockout stage. I think once we're able to get that, we should have a winner. The Flamingos.
Is it the time for us to look outside Coach Bankole? He has done this 1, 2, 3 times. Probably should we give someone else a chance, or should we further improve him in terms of coaching courses?
I think the
Second him to a team in the US.
I think the best approach for at this level is to send the coach to Europe, because right now, if you notice the female football game is shifting towards Europe. Their leagues are actually stronger. The US female football scene is more of Colgate soccer. It's still, as I call it, Colgate soccer, college football. But I think Coach Bankole should not be discarded. Look, the present coach of the Spanish male football team, he was coach of the youth team for nearly 10, 15 years before he now moved over. And you see, it was easy for him to
play with the boys.
Yes, and you could see that progression. So for me, the problem is not the coaching. Let Coach Bankole be given the opportunity to be seconded. Like now there's a huge, holiday between now and the next qualifier, like a year or a year and a half. Let him proceed to Spain, to England, or the US. Let him be attached to teams, and by the time he comes back, he will learn a thing or two about navigating those tricky opponents, and it will be good for our game.
All right, let's look at the Chan Eagles list. We've got Osle Guavon releasing the list in terms of home-based players. Are you satisfied with the crop of players invited to the Chan Eagles?
Well, so far so good. I saw, of course, my favorite player, Sadiq from Remo Stars. And we saw a clutch of players from Eyimba and other teams, and it's important that we should understand that the Chan Championship now is not just restricted to players playing at home. It's now expanded to include players playing within Africa. So what it means is that Coach Guavon can actually invite Nigerian players that are playing in other leagues in Africa,
within the African
continent, like Obasogie and other good players to at least fortify the team.
Looking at the list that we've got, looking at the defense area, How key is this? Because we know that defense is somewhere that's aging the Super Eagles. How key with this crop of players? Can he pick players from the defense and also the attacking front of the Chan Eagles? We saw one of the highest goal scorers in the MPFL, Anas Yusuf, also making the team. So how key are this crop of players?
Fantastic. You know, for me, I'm quite impressed that he has picked players that are in form. Anas has actually, when he changed teams towards the middle of last season, his goals actually kept his team up, his new team. And he has shown, if you watch the highlights and the matches he has played for his local club side, he is a predator. He's a very, very good striker. So, I mean, it's no brainer that you get players at this level that can deliver, that have that penchant for goals, and also the defense. You have active NPFL players that you've seen them in the flow, like Sadiq. We know what he can do. His pull-outs, his runs, and also some of his goals. So
timely tackles
too. So and we've seen the Rivers goalkeeper, Rivers United goalkeeper. I mean, his team has kept an unbeaten run so far. Both home and away, they've been fantastic, coached by Finidi George. So I think, remember, Coach Eguavon had said he was going to rely mainly on Remo Stars coach and Rangers coach Ilechukwu. So they know these players because they play with them week in, week out. Okay. So it's a good one for our league. And of course, what can be better than the Jollof Rice Derby with the Ghanaians? Yeah, so, I mean, if we can get past them, I think it will be an opportunity for the Chan Eagles to stake a claim for the main Super Eagles. So we should qualify. I believe we will qualify.
All right, we cannot but remember our darling Super Falcons who had friendly over the weekend against Algeria. 2 goals scored by Jibade. Are we over relying on her as the next talisman for the Super Falcons? And grade A friendly, kudos to the NFF.
Good one. I watched highlights. I watched highlights of the match, and the team was quite impressive in front of goal. Of course, you know, the Algerians are also rebuilding. They are also now looking at Algerians from France. That's French players with Algerian. So descent. It was a good one for us, and we need more of such friendly matches so that when the tournament itself is held, although Morocco is no longer a host, if I'm able to understand, so it could be South Africa or anywhere, but the good thing is we need to be playing some of these teams, South Africa, Zambia, Cameroon, Equatorial Guinea, the Black Queens of Ghana. That would put that team in a good stead so that when the main championship comes up, they will be able to do something.
All right, let's quickly go to Europe. Time not our friend. We've got an interesting El Clasico, Barcelona whipping Real Madrid 4-0.
Yeah, I love that.
Arsenal playing out a 2-2 draw with Liverpool. Manchester United robbed at the nick of time. That penalty was a very cheeky one. let's quickly tell me, our friend, El Clasico, was this the El Clasico we expected, or what went wrong?
I think Real Madrid, will I say they underestimated Barcelona? And the Barcelona team presently, Hansi Flick has got them playing for him. He has made it clear that he has implicit confidence in the El Masia Academy, and he's not ready to. He knows the team is under financial strain, so go with what you have. And with a certain Lamine and Rafinha on fire, this is what you get. Apparently, the players have blended into Hansi Flick's vision. They have the ball sense. Now he has brought that tactical discipline, that German discipline that Barcelona teams have lacked for some years in the team. He has brought it, and you see they are playing with one mind. For Real Madrid, I'm sorry to say, I don't see what Mbappe has really added to that team. If you ask me personally,
he scored 2 goals that were disallowed.
But the fact is that you see the way the team is structured now, it's being structured to play to the strength of Mbappe. And let me just make it clear. Ball sense wise and technique wise, Vinicius Junior is better. I'm saying it categorically. He is better than Mbappe. Mbappe has pace. We saw that he brought the pace to the fore at the 2018 World Cup and a bit of 2022. After that, he has fizzled out. That is the truth. He seems distracted. He seems... I don't know what has come over him.
Can we put it to the rape allegation and also the money issue he has with Paris Saint-Germain?
That's what I'm saying. You know, before he got to Real Madrid, he was already distracted. And I'm sorry to also add this. It's a problem with most black players. They tend to get more distracted by off-field antics. Then another thing, the absence of Cruz.
Tony Cruz.
There's a gaping hole. Now it was hoped that Bellingham will one way try and fill in that gap and Camavinga, but we've seen that even Bellingham now has not scored any goal this season because he's being forced to play to suit the game of Mbappe. And so long as Real Madrid continues to happen on getting players based on money, and you now try to play to their strength and not face what is actually on the field against a very determined team, this is what you get.
All right, let's quickly move. Arsenal-Liverpool was an interesting matchup. Did Arsenal prove a point that they indeed are contenders and not pretenders to the trophy this season?
I'm a Liverpool fan, but I must tell you the truth. Arsenal should have won that game. With all due respect, Liverpool, we had no business playing a draw. We were abysmal. We were non-existent in the middle. Partey, Meliro, and what's his name, Rice, they completely bust the midfield. And look, I just feel sad for Arsenal. These are the kind of matches you win that shows that, okay, you have intention of competing. Now, you can give the excuse that, yes, they had injuries, but on the day, they were miles better than Liverpool. What's his name? Andrew Robertson was... Saka made mincemeat of him. Our midfielders went to sleep. They were simply just bossed around. And some would say the second goal, if Alisson was there, would have saved that. But the truth is, Liverpool were just lucky. I have to say it without mincing. I'm a Liverpool fan, but Arsenal, they did well. I was very, very impressed. They came to the table and they came out fighting. And the last minute goal, well, hard luck, but they need to win games like this, close it out.
All right, let's wrap our program up with talk Manchester United, West Ham. Some say it's time for Erik ten Hag to leave the scene. Is it about Erik ten Hag or the playing staff is just not good enough?
Okay, now there are two sides to this thing. As a Liverpool fan, I would say Ten Hag or nobody. That man must be protected. We like him there. But if you look at it now from an objective perspective, there's just something toxic with Manchester United. And I think Ten Hag has a role in this. His man management is not the best. The players are not playing for him. They are not playing for him. Okay, fine. We've had an issue with English referees, VAR, and very questionable calls. But the fact remains that Manchester United is having a big problem. Now, I understand they've already spoken to some coaches behind the scenes, Xavi and others. But the truth is, even if you take out Ten Hag right now, with this crop of players and the general atmosphere in the team, I don't think Man U can still challenge. Yes, they are 14th. They won't be there for long. Funny enough, Onana has not been bad this season compared to last season. He has been doing, in fact, he has saved and bailed them out. But the truth is that something needs to give for that team. Perhaps if they can get a performance against one of the top teams, that might turn around their season. But on the other hand, some will say someone has to be sacrificed for that changeover to become a reality, and so Ten Hag should go. For me, should he go? Well, I think he should be given up until December, and if things don't turn around, then they can consider getting another coach. The question is, who is out there for Manchester United? The problem is in the team itself, the whole structure. You know, I said this thing last week, the overbearing influence of Sir Alex and the golden generation has to be put to an end. Simple.
But Sir Alex is out of the picture.
Yes, you know, that's a recent development. So it's a gradual process, and with time, if Ten Hag cannot get the team playing for him, then at that point he should just do the honourable by leaving the scene.
All right, that's how much time is going to let us talk sport on today's edition. I want to say a big thank you to Mazino Dixon for coming through and helping us look at all the big talking points from the El Clasico, where Real Madrid were whitewashed 4-0 to Manchester United, and also Liverpool playing out a 2-2 draw. And not forgetting CAF hammering Libya for the good of Nigeria and for football in the African continent. My name is Anthony Momodi saying thank you for being part of Talk Sport today. Let's do this again tomorrow when we come with other big stories making the rounds. Good.